All right, everybody, welcome to the Skid Stream. We are blessed by having nobility in the house tonight. We have nobility. We have a real life metal lord with us. We have Jeffrey Paul joining. Thank you very much for coming along, Jeff. It's really, really good to have you here, sir.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me, brother.
It's good. It looks like I got at least 2 people watching, so that's great. If anybody's out there watching,
hey, 2 people.
If you can give us a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear us, just to see if sound levels are good, because I got nobody mixing in the studio for me. So if anybody gives a thumbs up, I'd see Pulse Kebab there, and maybe someone else maybe give us a thumbs up and let us know.
Pulse Kebab, what's up, my brother?
There you go. Just by way of introduction, why we have Jeff on with us tonight is good. Thanks, Vince. I met Jeff looking for music for my workout videos. So when I first started doing that, I was using like YouTube free music, stuff like that. When I talked to Blake, and he pointed me in a couple directions. Well, Techno-Axe is one of them, is true, but Techno-Axe tends to be a little grungy. And then he pointed me at you, Jeff, and I took a listen to your music, and it's just that awesome high energy 80s metal. And I got a hold of you, and you said, yeah, just use it all you want. And I was like, thank you, because it added such a great dimension to my workout videos. So without any further ado, let me say, first of all, thank you for that. And then the first question then to open up with is, so many of these content creators are very, very protective of their stuff, but you are very generous with letting people use your music as part of this stuff, and just was curious about your philosophy on that.
Well, you call it generous. I call it generous that y'all want to use it. I do this because I love it. I do sell the music on, iTunes and that kind of stuff, but it's only enough for a tank of gas every now and then, and the guys are using it. I've got Hammerhand, Red Pill Rhino, Blake and Pop for Grunt Speak, and you. And those are the four main ones. I've done a lot of music for Blake and Pop, some which has been used, some which hasn't. But that you guys want to use it, it makes my day. And another thing I'll even tell you is it doesn't seem like much that I have put out with these creators, but what a lot of people don't understand is when you go to record these things, they take a long time. By the time you write them, piece them, track them, some of them can take anywhere from 40 to 60 hours of working time to record because I'm real picky about it. I always, man, I hope this is going to be good. I do a lot of layers. I overproduce. I won't lie, because that's my thing. But it takes a long time to put some of these together. Some people even said, "Why aren't you coming out with anything new?" Well, I said, "Well, I'm working on something, but golly, it's not just plug in. Oh, I got a song. Okay, release it. It doesn't work that way. There's lots of mastering, editing, that kind of thing. But it is the love of my life. I love doing it.
Yeah.
Hence the name of the CD is "Music Is Her Name."
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where that came from.
Well, it's obvious in your music. I mean, it shines through the spirit of what you have as you do. That's what makes it so. That's part of what makes it so amazing. You can tell that it's definitely your craft for sure, and that I don't doubt for a moment the amount of work and time you spend on it, because I don't know if I characterize it overproduced. I call it exactly well produced. I mean, it's very, very good stuff for sure. For sure.
Oh, you don't know how much I appreciate you guys using it. It's the greatest feeling ever. Blake and Pop were the start of that, and I had to write him 1,000 emails. Come on, dude, let me do something. I just kept picking at him until he said, "Okay, do something." So
Well, I'll tell you
it took a while.
what. We've actually got some people listening in. Let's just give an example of some of the stuff that you've done. I've got I think not my hold on. We got to do some finger stuff here, but I'm going to bring up one of your videos here. Hold on.
Okay.
Let's go like that so we can all see each other. And
Not my monkey, not my circus.
not my monkey, not my circus. There we go. Oh my God, I'd love to listen to the rest of that and all that, but we get back to the
That's
stream.
okay. That's okay.
That is some serious shredding. I mean, it's just
that's not that hard to play. Anybody with I've got y'all all fooled, I guess.
I just I just love it. I just absolutely love it. That's the example. So there you go. There's
this
the
is
start of it.
that's the guitar right there that I played on right there.
Yeah. And I love the way you filmed it too. Like you say, you spent a lot of time putting it together and making it happen, but you got your video camera right there. Like obviously the music is the craft of it, but you spend some time producing the video as well, right?
Well, do you want me to give you my secret?
Absolutely.
It's an iPhone. I just do it on an iPhone and edit it off some video software that I have that I got off the the app stores and stuff. I'm just like, well, it's the best I can do. I've even talked to Blake before, saying, "Man, what do you use?" And he tells me, but he's far beyond what I can. That guy's an incredible editor, and I'm just doing it on my iPhone and going, "Well, that looks good. That looks great. Okay, we'll put that there." Very simple technique.
You're doing great. I mean, the amount of editing I do for my videos just takes especially the workout ones, just takes forever. So that's great.
It does.
You can take all that. Let's see. Yeah. So next question would be, of course, the theme of my channel is just being free and doing, living your life the way you want to, trying to engender a set of circumstances so you can do what you want to do, kind of thing. And we talked on the phone last weekend and got to know each other a little bit. And I definitely got the impression you're a similar fella. You live your life the way you want to. Just did a move, you said, from Texas to Arkansas,
Yes.
etc. And just floor over to you, just, philosophy for living your life the way you see fit and what you do to keep yourself free.
Well, you know, I had the dreaded thrice marriage number. Um,
So you're a slow
and
learner.
I was, I was, and after a while, especially the older I get, we're the same age, boy, you get so burned out. You get to where, you know, like even right now. Well, let me step back. I'm trying to talk ahead of myself, but I got divorced, and I said I'm living in northern Dallas in this concrete jungle, and I've been divorced for five, well, let's see, 7 years at that time, and I said I got to get out of here. I just can't do this anymore, and I wanted more time, and I came to Arkansas in the dark. I actually went to Louisiana. I went to Arkansas, all over Arkansas, Oklahoma, even Texas, looking for a place. I said, I want to get it in a small town. I don't want to live. Dallas is a major thoroughfare now. I don't know if
I
it's
spent
nothing like where I grew up.
lots of time in Dallas, Fort
Yeah.
Worth, because there's a one of the simulators that I had to fly was there right at the airport.
Oh, DFW. Oh, golly, I would hate to have to drive there. But I got to where I was like, I can't take it anymore. So I moved to a small town in the dark, no job, no nothing. I just packed everything up, came, unloaded it, remodeled my house. I spent, uh, what, 3.5, 4 months. That's all I did. I just get up in the morning, work on the house, go to sleep with a paint can as a pillow.
I've done that.
And yeah, living in a construction site. Remind me later. I'll send you pictures of what I was living in. You'll just be like, dude, you're crazy. I finally got it done. Found a job. Worked there for a while. Lots of corruption.
Hmm.
Didn't work there, and I worked this other job for a while. And then I just resigned last week, and I said, I don't know what I want. I don't want to work right now. So I I've had a week off of laying around and doing nothing. Did you ever get to that point, where you're
Yes.
just like, I can't do this. I've got to stop because my head's gonna pop. And that's where I'm at. I'm not depressed or anything. It just came to that point where I had to stop. I
Hmm.
haven't even really been recording as much as I need to because I've just had to stop everything.
Mhm.
Hence, uh, thank God I'm not married. Thank God there's no woman involved. Thank God that I've reached this point. And because I was even talking to my dad, and I said, he goes, "You quit, you resigned," and I said, "Yeah." He goes, "That's one of your best jobs ever," and I said, "I know, but it's just a dead end.
Hmm.
It's a dead end. What am I going to do? I'm going to work there." I said, "At this point, Dad, I don't care if I wait tables. You know, I don't care if I work as a Walmart greeter,
Yeah.
because I'm just like, I'm so burned out and I'm so over it."
Mhm.
And when I moved here, I was able to, you know, pay cash for my house.
Mhm.
It was one of those things where I'm not going to have house payments. I'm not going to have all the taxes. The taxes between Texas and Arkansas is night and day.
Yep.
You're talking thousands upon thousands of dollars cheaper in taxes to live here. So I said, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So I came up here and I set up my studio, and it's just been an easy, laid back life, and peaceful.
I think that when I talk to guys like us about our age, and even younger guys, that are figuring it out, there's a number of commonalities that come about, and one of the ones one that you just mentioned is money. And so, what Cappy talks about with respect to minimalism doesn't mean that you necessarily have to have nothing. Minimalism means that you make a comparison sometimes, like, okay, how much property tax am I paying in Dallas? How much am I paying down in Arkansas? A lot less, but I have the same quality of life. Why wouldn't I choose that? So
Right.
minimalism is sometimes a comparison of things and achieving the same objective, but with a lot less money. And if you do that, that allows you a lot more freedom of option. The other
And
thing that
also, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was
Sorry.
just saying, the other commonality that I see is that guys go, you know what? I'm going to decide what's important, not let somebody else decide what's important. So you
Correct.
you could have a job where, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that, and I'm like, I get it. It's important to. It's not just important to work. It's important to have something that you make a difference in, something bigger than yourself, etc. But if that job that you're doing isn't in line with how you think that should work, then why would you do that? Make your money doing something that makes a difference that you think is important. And if you have
Right.
the freedom to be able to make that happen, your life is so much better. And again, that's the kind of common thing that I see between guys like you and me that are just kind of, we're not trying to, be millionaires or do anything. All we're doing is just living our life the way we want to. And it's way, compared to like 5 years ago where you got to, do this, do that, and for whatever you're working with, this is way better this way.
And you gotta look at your what do you need? Like I'll give you an example. When I was living in Dallas, I was living in this brand new home, uh, custom built, um, not the biggest one in the world, but real nice home. I mean, just beautiful house in a nice neighborhood. And I went when I said, How bad do I want this? How bad do I want these taxes and this payment?" And 6 years of that was just wore me out. And I said, and when I moved out here to this small town in Arkansas, I I bought a little. I mean, it's a nice home. It's like a farmhouse, and it's I fixed it up real nice, made it real comfortable, made it, updated everything. I did all that because it was, when the 70s were in, you know what I mean?
No.
So I just tore everything apart and did it myself. And you got to look at, what do you really need?
Mm-hmm.
Did I need that big, beautiful home in Dallas? No, I didn't need that. And I came here and I thought, well, this is a different step, um, in how I was living, but I'm going, wow, I'm so much more comfortable. I'm so much more. It took me about 6 months to decompress
Mm-hmm.
to where you felt like, okay, I can I can sit here and I can relax, and that's what the city was doing to me. Yeah,
Well,
it was driving me
wasn't that
crazy.
the quote from Fight Club that Tyler Durden says? It says that the things you own end up owning you. So,
Yes, that's
you know,
exactly right. Yes.
so there you go.
And I'm glad I made the move. And some people ask me, "When you coming back to Dallas?" And I said, "No time soon.
Yeah, well, there you
I don't
go.
see it happening right now."
Mm-hmm.
You know, I only came. It's only like, I'm about 4 or 5 hours from there. It's not like it's a major haul or anything, but I'm really glad that I can walk out on my front porch and I can see the stars.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I
you
love
know,
that too.
mhm.
Uh, just as part of all that, obviously not before the move, or before the move, you had met Pop and Blake. But what brought you to getting to know Pop and Blake in the first place? Did they reach out to you, or what's the story that connected you guys?
Oh, they came across my feed years ago. It's golly, how long has it been now? Maybe 5 years. I'm just guessing at that, but and I'm like watching some things, or I was, I see this, pop. Who is this guy? Because he'll catch your attention. And I was like, well, okay, it's gonna, I'd go back and maybe a couple days later go back. I'll be looking at YouTube or something. Well, who's this pop guy coming up here? So I just got to watching, and then they started doing the live streams, and I started watching. And before you know it, I'm sitting there chain watching it because you're just like going through all the videos he has and all the little silly things he does, like when he starts dancing with those little songs and all. And I said, I like this guy. So I started watching. And I said, oh, you know what? I think I tried to send Pop a message or something. You never hear from him. You know how Pop is. And I started sending Blake messages.
Yeah, well, Blake will get back to you.
Blake will get back to you. Yeah, right. And started talking to him, and I started going, man, let me do some music for your page. Come on, let me try it. And he goes, all right. I finally got through to him. I think I was even doing it on a super chat. You guys, let me do some music for your themes, And he started listening. I guess, anybody will tell you anything over the internet, right? I just, I wanted to know I was for real. And he started using, he finally called me back when they said, man, I'm going to use that tune on the intro. I'm like, this is going to be cool. Before you know it, that thing, the count went up, I think it's not a lot on there. I was 8,000 views on it. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And then the other one started climbing, because people, and it's kind of circulated around. I started hitting a few others. And it finally, people started actually watching a little bit. I was like, okay, well, maybe I can get a little more than a tank of gas per month,
Blake is awesome. One of the most generous guys I've ever met with his time and with his information. He's there to help a brother all the time. It's like, well, how does this work? Well, like this. I just can't say enough good things. Oh, Pop as well, obviously, for the work he does. But just in terms of administrative and mechanics and stuff, of being able to do stuff. Oh, man, Blake has helped me so much put this together.
He's a real intelligent guy. There's no doubt about it.
Funny,
and
too.
His family. His family. I went and ate with his wife and kid. And he is the down home guy, man. He's really got a great life and a great little thing going. He's got it all set up real nice. Him and Pop are polar opposites, but that's why it works, but they were so much fun to hang out with. Just nice. Great. They're exactly who you see.
Good.
Good. When you're watching.
Well, I got a really good question for you here in a second, but I've got a few guys in the chat here that have got some interesting chats. So I'll put them up. Polska Bob says, Skid, play Footprints. I'll see. This requires actual fingering. So I'll see if I can get to it or not. We'll see. Let's see.
Footprints is an old one.
There you go. Let's see. Here's an awesome name, Vincent Van Gogh. Yourself. He says, I play Jeffrey's music in my car all the time while I'm overdriving. So many of my passengers are like, damn, who has that? This guy's pretty good. More than pretty good, as far as I'm concerned. Thanks, Vince. Let's see what else we got. We got a few more there. Polska's a Vincent. Footprints turns people's heads when I drive. Nice. And here we go. We got one more here. Vincent, Marionette, Erase the World Outside, Tickle Pink, Hammer and Anvil, and Rhino Rage. That's almost exactly my playlist of stuff that I put on my workouts. So there you go.
Which ones did he say?
Oh, sorry. Pink? I'll put it back up for you.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
There you go.
The Marionette is very you watch it makes it obvious what I was thinking. Erase the World Outside was during the lockdown. Well, we couldn't leave. I was like, Erase the World Outside, and I got Morty. I'm chasing Morty too. Pickled Pink is that makes sense there.
That I have queued up because I have a question about that. That's a good one. Right on. Okay, cool. I'll get rid of that. There we go. Okay. So the question, and I had warned you about this in our little pregame here because I wanted you to have time to think of it, and then it turns out you don't need any time to think about it. As I just wanted to hear. I love hearing stories, and I wanted to hear your funniest or best musician story of stuff that's happened to you, either playing live or recording stuff. That your floor is yours. A funny story about music.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, it involves some of the guys I was in music with.
Perfect. Okay,
more than it did music, but I don't know if I should put this out. The story is,
and once it goes out there, it's never coming back. The
it's never coming back. It was a let me put it to this, it's a motley crew kind of thing, if you know what I
Okay,
mean, you know.
outstanding.
But
Good.
me and a buddy of mine, he was a drummer that I was playing with, and
It's
we
always
became
the
real good
drummer.
friends. It's always the drummer. It always is. But he had this girlfriend. Uh, her name was Summer. I'll just leave her at Summer. And
Okay.
she was really, really cool. And so, but she was a stripper. Okay, I was in my 20s. Okay,
Well, I mean, everybody likes it when
Uh,
summer comes, right?
so we go to we always used to, we go to rehearsals and we do our thing, and then we'd go, okay, well, we'd rehearse for about 3 or 4 hours, and then we'd go out to the strip joint. That's just what we did. And so we go out there one day, and oh, I can't believe I'm telling you this. But she goes, we're hanging out in the bar and all that, and she's coming up, she's talking to me and my drummer friend, and uh, she sticks her tongue out at me. Like, just like, being a rotten kid,
Yeah.
So I stuck my tongue back,
All right.
and she reaches out with the tip of her finger and hits my tongue.
Strange.
And I don't think anything about it. I'm like, but then there's something in my mouth. And I pull it out, and it's a little piece of paper.
Oh no.
And I flick it off, and I'm like, "What's that?" And she just looks at me, kind of smiles, "You're about to have a blast." And I'm like,
Uh-oh.
"What? What did you do?"
Uh-oh.
You know? And I didn't think much about it. And me and my buddy go sit down, drink a few beers, and all of a sudden things start getting really weird. And yeah, I mean, oh, this gets crazy. Just wait till you hear the rest of this. So I'm like, what did you do? And the drummer, my buddy, it's his girlfriend that did it, starts looking at me and starts, laughing like, oh, yeah. And I did not realize it because I'm not that kind of guy, right? I don't do those kind of things. Well, everything starts getting really strange, and I start thinking, what's going on here? So, you know how I can, y'all can only guess what it was, right?
Well, yeah, we'll leave it unnamed, but we can definitely guess what that
Okay.
was. Yeah.
Yeah. So everything starts mushrooming,
Yeah.
if I want to put it that way. And this guy comes up, and me and my buddy are sitting at the table, and this guy sits across from me, and he leans over to tell me something, and I don't know what he tells me. Well, in my mind, I'm not thinking correctly, and I just turned around and punched him right in the face. And knocked this guy back. His beer goes flying off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, for crying out loud. And I look over at the front door, and here come the bouncers. I'm like, oh my God, I'm dead. And I'm like ready to go because I'm
You're a
feeling
little
this,
keyed
right?
up. Yeah.
I'm keyed up, right? They grab him and throw him out of the bar.
The guy you
I'm like,
punched.
well, the guy I punched.
Okay. Well,
I'm the
rabble
one who
rouse.
deserved it. I don't know why. Well, this guy, we're going through, and I'll admit it, I was playing with the girls and all that stuff because we knew some of them, so we were just all having fun. And this guy comes up to me, and this is on a Halloween night. Okay, I remember that specifically because we had rehearsed and all that. And this guy comes up, sits down. Something. He's got this shawl, like Mexican shawl on, and kind of a sombrero hat thing. And I think he's just dressed up for Halloween. And he starts hanging out with us. I'm not much paying attention to him. And he goes, "Hey man, you want to go outside?" And I go, "Why?" He goes, "Man, And I'm like, "All right."
Whatever.
Keep in mind, I'm in my early 20s here. This has been
Uh,
30 something years ago. I don't do that stuff.
and I feel sorry for the young fellas now because we didn't have cell phones back then, so no pictures, no video,
No
no
pictures,
proof.
no
It was so
evidence.
much better time.
So we go out to the car and do our thing, and come back in. Well, it didn't do anything to me because of other things, right? And So my buddy, we start hanging out. This guy's cutting up with us. I'm like, who's this guy hanging around me? Okay, whatever. I don't know him, but whatever. He's not bothering me. So we get ready to leave. It's like 2 or 3 in the morning. And my buddy says, come on, man, we got to go. And I said, okay. And we go to get in the car. And here comes this guy in this shawl and this little Mexican hat. And he goes, hey, man, will you give me a ride home? I said, no, man, I'm not going to give you a ride home, dude. I don't know you. I got to go. I got to go. He goes, come on, man, give me a ride home. Give me a ride home. And my buddy's standing across the car, over the hood, and he's looking at me. He's like, what? What do you do? What do you do? And I said, no, I'm not giving you a ride home. He goes, oh, man, do me one favor then. And I said, what do you want? And he goes, just drive me up to that convenience store around the corner. All right, get in the car. I'm taking you to the convenience store. That's as far as I'm taking you. Okay. So we get in the car. We go up to the convenience store, and I pull up by the gas pumps and I drop him off. And he goes, man, come on, take me home. And I'm like, no, man. I said I'd bring you to the convenience store, and that's it. I figured he had to use a payphone. Yeah, like you said, there were cell phones then. And he would not get out of the car. So I went to the back door and I pulled the back door open. I grabbed him by that shawl, and I'm raging at this point. I grab him and I yank him out of the car, and he rolls on the concrete right by the gas pump. I closed the door and I said, all right, he's out. Get in the car. I'm getting ready to take off. And as I'm sitting there with my hands on the wheel, I heard the car just went boom. And I felt it kind of jerk like this. I looked back, I opened the door, and this guy had drop kicked the quarter panel of my car.
Shit.
And put a dent in the side of it.
Oh, man.
Well, he starts backing up about 10, 12 foot away. Maybe a little further, maybe about 15, 16 foot away. And right then, man, my whole brain and my whole being just turned into a raging critical mass, right? And I start running at him as fast as I can. Well, as I'm running at full speed, I double up my fist and I punch him right square in the nose, and he drops to the ground. I don't know I know where it came from, but this is not how I act, right? And so my buddy comes running behind me and grabs me from behind, like, don't kill him. What are you doing? You're going to get us killed or shot. And we look down, and this guy's laying on the ground. He's kind of got his face covered up like so, and there's just blood pooling. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm like, oh no, what have I done? My buddy goes, get in the car and let's get out of here. So I get in the car. I drive down the road about, 300 or 400 yards, maybe a half a mile. I don't know. And I said, absolutely not. This guy's not getting away with that. And I take the car and I come up to a U-turn and I turn around and I go back to the store where he's at. I get up to the gas pumps. He's gone, but there's a pool of blood about that big around laying in the concrete. And I look up into the store, and him and the convenience store guy are shoving towels and napkins up to his face. I go pulling up to the front glass, and I go in, and my buddy gets out of the car, starts chasing me into the front door because he's like, oh my God, who is this guy that I'm riding with? I've known this guy for 20 years, and he's going to kill somebody. I ran in there, and the store attendant was kind of one of those Arabian guys. Please no fight in here. Please no fight. No fight, man. No fight. Please no fight. And I grab that guy that did this and I throw him up against the glass. And I look at him, I said, you saw, and I'm cussing him, And he had all these chains around his neck, and I grab these chains and I yank them off of his neck and shove them in my pocket for whatever reason. I take off.
Allegedly, by the way, for any law enforcement.
Allegedly.
Although statute of limitations should be off.
Statute of limitations is probably over on this one. And so, me and my buddy, he says, get in the car. You're not doing it. He's trying to stop me, because he's like, he can't believe what's going on. And I'm not thinking right. we get in the car, we take off. I get home. I wake up the next morning, and I go, "Oh my God, what have I done? I can't believe it." So Summer, the girl that we knew from there,
That initiated this whole
calls
thing.
me up the next day and says, or the not that night, but the next day, and says, "Jeff, what did you do to that guy?" And I said, "Oh my God," I said, "I don't know, but I need to apologize to this guy. I don't know what else to do." She goes, "Well, the police came up there with him looking for you." And Jeff, she said he had a cast on his face.
Holy
And
shit.
I'm running at him full throttle, and I hit him. I broke his whole top of his septum, or whatever that is right there.
Oh man, you're lucky you didn't kill him.
I couldn't, I could be in prison right now. I mean,
Yeah.
and she goes, "Well, I told him I didn't know you." And I'm like, "Oh, Summer, you're the greatest friend I've ever had. You're the
Well,
best
other than
stripper in the world, right?" you know, and she goes, I just told him you were a customer. And I was like, "I cannot believe I've done this." And it's from hanging out in them places with all the bands and the guys, and to this day, I know that guy looks in the mirror and goes, "Oh, I remember that day." That
and
was back
that's
in, it was back in probably about 87,
now
something like that.
that's a great story. Now I'm curious, from the collection that you got there, were you able to sell it and pay for the damage for the car? Seeing as how you got your
I actually sold the car. But
that's hilarious.
uh, I remember looking back there and seeing that dent in that quarter panel, and I was like, "Oh,
Damn. Well, that's a decent segue since you're talking about summer and women and such. Is
mhm."
one of my favorite songs that you have is Tickled Pink. And I'll get it queued up here in a second because again I'm gonna do some finger stuff. But as I'm talking or as I'm getting that ready, what is I can only imagine what is the story behind Tickled Pink?
Well, I was thinking of the color. Music's in colors. I don't know if you can see it that way, but I see music in colors a lot of times. And I'm like, "Man, something colorful." And I called one of my buddies and I said, "Man, I want to make this really fun kind of thing." I said, "I want it involving colors." And he says, "Tickled pink." I said, "That's perfect." Just is this that simple? I said, "Tickled pink, that is perfect." So I put it as Tickled Pink. And that song took a long time to record right there. That song, it seems kind of, that's one of the ones that sounds easy to play, but it's not.
Yeah.
That song's very hard to play. And uh, uh, he said, "Tickled Pink." I said, "Well, I'm going to give you credit that you named that tune." Yeah, I said, "That is the perfect name for that tune." And, it has its connotations.
It definitely
Mm.
does. I think I can put it in here. Let me get that up there and say keep these guys from being in suspense and let's have a little bit of that. Okay, I could literally listen to that all night. That's it's just beautiful. Like your technique is flawless. Like
That's
just watching you
that
go.
song's hard to play. I'm not
I
gonna lie.
can
I don't even think that I could even do it again. I'd have to rehearse it all again. I haven't played it in such a long time, but yeah,
what I
it's a
like
tough one to play.
what I like about your music because like so I don't do music, but I write, right? So
Mhm.
my art is writing, and you need to be able to capture a story in a medium, right? And yeah, there's the kind of obviously the connotation of tickled pink is talking about something, and it's like you've captured that anticipate, like as you're doing your intros, it's like we're getting somewhere here, and it's the way that
Yeah.
you've put that song together is just it tells a story, and it tells it very very well musically, and that's part of the reason why I enjoy your music so much.
Isn't it funny how sounds can do that? I've
Yeah,
always been intrigued with that, being a musician, that you've got to capture what it feels like.
yeah.
When you hear that song, you see the little cartoon characters with their eyes poking out. Uh, I try to do that. I'm not always successful, but uh,
It's
I do my best.
I think that's a big part of art, right? Is like in
Hmm.
any medium, whether you're a sculptor, whether you're a writer, whether you're a musician, whether you write poetry, these kind of things, you are trying to use your medium to capture an emotion, a story, a theme, trying to make something happen. And I really enjoy it, especially with that
That
song. It's good.
that one, "Dressed in Green with Envy,"
I remember that one.
was one of my all-time favorites. When I got finished with that one, I was very happy with that one.
Yeah.
And that was inspired by a narcissistic chick that I know. And
Imagine that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. Well, that segues me into two questions actually.
okay.
I'll start with the first one, music wise. Uh, so guys might be interested because you're so accomplished with the music that you do. Um, when did you start? Like, how old were you? Like, how much do you practice? How much are you at it? That kind of thing. Just in terms of basic mechanics.
Well, I started when I was about 11 or 12.
Nice.
I remember seeing Aerosmith and Kiss, and I told my dad one day, I said, "Dad, I want guitar lessons." Yeah. And he
Mhm.
looks at me and he goes, "You know what, son, that would be good for you." He goes, you know, you really need some kind of thing that you're going to be able to, take with you through your life. So he gets me guitar lessons, and I've got this little old lady in there teaching me guitar, teaching me the Red River Valley and, how great thou art, all this stuff. And one day I took a couple months worth of lessons from her, just trying to learn the basics and learn. And I looked at her one day and I said, "Ma'am," I said, "I want to play Rush. I want to play Led Zeppelin. I want to play Van Halen." And she goes, "Okay." So she hands me a book. "Here's all the music that you're going to be learning. You're going to play in the ensemble next week, so learn it." So I'm like looking at this, going, "Oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing here." And I went in, I played on the ensemble and played my first gig in the parking lot on the back of a flatbed trailer playing Proud Mary. You
Nice.
know? And I still, the guy that was taking lessons with me, or not with me, but he just happened to be one of the students at the time, me and him still talk.
Oh,
We played
nice.
that gig together. I haven't seen him in a long time. We keep in contact on Facebook and stuff like that. And we played our first gig on that flatbed trailer, and I don't know if you know where Mesquite, Texas is, right in front of
Yeah.
the police department.
Nice. Nice. Well,
And
at least you weren't breaking somebody's nose there. So
yeah, oh, I can't believe I told y'all that story.
that's great. I
It's,
love those
well,
kind of
it
stories.
is, but I don't want to hurt people. That's not me.
Uh,
I was just
yeah.
out of
Believe
my
me,
mind at the
I
time.
have more than a few of my own.
Okay, okay.
This
Well.
isn't about me though. So there you go. Um, so what brings you then? Like, obviously you and I are of an age, and we were growing up being teenagers in the 80s and stuff like that, listening to that heavy metal that was playing at the time. So that factors into it. But what brings you back to it? Like the majority of your music has that very 80s metal feel to it, although it's new as made right now.
Mhm.
Is it just your favorite genre? Do you feel that that's your best place to be? What draws you there?
Well, there's no doubt in my mind that throughout the 70s and 80s, right before the turn of the grunge movements and things like that. Now there are some good grunge bands, don't take me wrong, but those guitar players in those days are untouchable.
What are your favorite
The,
guitar players?
oh God. One of my favorites is John Petrucci. I don't
Okay.
know if you know from Dream Theater.
Hmm.
Of course, Eddie Van Halen. Uh,
Rest in peace.
oh yeah. I always said everybody could say, "Yeah, Eddie Van Halen's at the top of the mountain." I said, "No, he's not." I said, "He's got his own mountain. He don't even
Yeah.
need to be at the top of the one." That guy just really changed. I remember listening to that on 8-track, that first album, when I was in seventh, eighth grade or something like that. And I said, "That's not a guitar. I
Yeah.
play guitar. That's not a guitar."
Yeah.
And just to be completely fooled by it. I like Queensryche, Chris DeGarmo.
Yeah.
I
Joe
like
Satriani, maybe.
Extreme. Satriani. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I remember telling you when we were talking, is that your music makes me feel like I used to feel when I'd fly a jet. It has that same feeling to it, and Joe Satriani can do that as well. Like his album "Surfing with the Alien."
That's
If
excellent.
if you've never got to fly a
Excellent.
jet aircraft, and most people don't, listen to "Surfing with the Alien."
Mm.
That's exactly what it's like.
That guy's a monster. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a good player. Him and Steve Vai.
yeah.
Steve Vai used to uh, take lessons from Joe Satriani.
Is that so?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
God, those two guys are just monsters.
yeah.
Just, it's like, really, is that? Sometimes I go to, and I've seen some of these guys live, and I'm watching, and I'm going, really, really,
Mhm.
you know, how are you managing that? Everybody's got their own thing. I know that. Could Eddie Van Halen play John Petrucci? Probably not. Could John
Mhm.
Petrucci probably play Eddie Van Halen? Probably not. But they're both absolutely monster guitar players.
Absolutely.
And it's just all about the approach and how they manage to see what the guitar would do.
Hmm. I think you should have a lot more recognition than you're getting. Your channel should be blowing out the water. I mean, it's really good. And if I have anything to do with them, so we got 7 people watching, which is actually 6 because I'm one of them monitoring. But spread the
I'm
word,
whatever
guys.
problem.
Spread the word.
Hey
Actually,
guy, hey file 5 of you. Hey, thanks
I'll
for
uh,
joining us.
I'll actually put in a little thing for you. If anybody looks in the low bar of the stream here, you'll see the very first thing is the link to Jeff's channel. So please go check it out and take a look.
Subscribe, man.
Yeah,
Subscribe.
absolutely, absolutely. Let's see what else was going to ask you. As we're getting a little bit close to the end, we've been going for a while here. Yeah. So you brushed on it before, just for fun here. You talked about moving and taking care of your stuff. Oh, you got to. What's his name again? Roscoe?
Morty.
Morty. Sorry, excuse me.
There's Morty.
We
My
get Morty up
bulldog.
there. We'll get the views up. We at least if there happens to be any women watching, they'll love this dog. He's
Let me see if I can
amazing.
get. Let me see if I can get. He's so heavy. He's a freaking monster. There you go, buddy. Come up here. Come up here and say hi to Uncle Skid. Say hi to everybody.
Oh man, few counts up.
Yeah, he's a good dog.
Already. There you go.
More everybody just wants to see you. They don't want to see us.
There, exactly. Who wants to see a couple old guys?
His birthday's in a couple days.
Just out of curiosity, you seen anybody these days? What's the dating life like?
No.
Keeping nice and quiet.
You got where I'm at. But it's about an 80-20 split. About 80% hail damaged.
Mm-hmm.
And about a 20%. You're all right. And plus, the older I get, nobody looks anymore.
Exactly. I know what that's like. But yeah, it's quite a thing, isn't it? I think we talked about it a little bit. It's cool to do your own thing and make it happen. And sometimes it's just a little too much work sometimes.
Yeah, I don't have the energy.
Yeah.
I barely have the energy to go to work, and at this point, don't even have that. And so I'm like, well, I always said that if there's one going to come around, boy, she's going to have to be a gentle girl.
Yeah.
Because and even then, I'm radaring for red flags.
Yeah. Well, this is it. This is it for sure. Well, and again, that brings us back to Pop's channel. There's lots of wisdom there about all that, isn't there?
Yeah, it's Yeah, I remember the first time I told him I'd been married 3 times. I took a beating for that one. I thought I was bleeding after the podcast.
Yeah,
He
I remember
beat
the
me for that one.
I remember the first time I told him I was with the Air Force. I took a beating for that. So there you go. That's funny. Let's see. Kind of getting towards the end. Any commentary that you'd like to throw at the people out there? Any stuff that you'd like to add to the discussion? Floor is
But yeah,
yours.
I would just the biggest gift anybody could give me, or the biggest thing that I would want anybody, to do, or whatever you want to call it, just go listen. Just go listen. Go listen. You can get it on Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, YouTube, um, Napster. Okay, all the major music services. Go on them and listen. I
Thank.
want that. Every time you stream one of them tunes, I get a penny.
Nice. There you go.
So
Good.
come on, you get 1 penny per stream. You wonder why it takes 8 million views to make any money at this.
So
It's
yeah.
because
At the rate I'm going, probably about 8,000 years, my thing will be monetized here. So,
I'm in the same boat.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how we go.
Actually, number one is, believe it or not, Hammerhand. I got my reports for my publisher a couple days ago, and the number one downloaded and played tune is the theme to Hammerhand's channel.
Oh, outstanding.
I thought it'd be Pop and Blake. They're number one on YouTube, but Hammerhand's got the upper hand on the publisher.
How about that? Well, I should to say along with that, like I said, people can find you on the link that's in the low bar here, or just go to YouTube and check out Jeffrey Paul. They find you very easily. You could even watch one of my workout videos, and in the background is going to be in the background is going to be Jeffrey Paul's stuff. Do you have any other places people can find you? Like, well, you said Spotify as well.
Yeah, all major music services mainly. The publishers list is about 50 or 60 different places, but the popular ones like Spotify.
Do you on your channel, do you point to some of that? Are there some links on there on your channel for that? Or do you have your own website?
I need to put them in. I haven't. I do know that if you go, there's on YouTube is Topic. I don't know if you've seen that.
Okay.
And when the publisher puts that out, they do send that to Topic also, which will send you to all the services and all that stuff. And I do have it said in the title of some of the tunes, you can buy this on Spotify, kind of thing.
Okay.
I probably do need to put them in the links down below in the meat gazer boxes we all call it.
That's well, and I got all my links down there too. Anybody who's watching for that kind of stuff too, I'll do a little plug for me. I got a book that you might want to take a look at called The Rillian Raven. I've got this fantastic game that I wrote as an old school Dungeons and Dragons game. Did you ever do any of that when you were a kid? Play any of that stuff?
No.
Yeah, it's very nerdlinger stuff, but going back then, it's a long story. Anyway, if people want to take a look, it's down there, and go from there. Also, merch.
Hey, I'll buy some of that merch. I didn't know you had. I got my coffee cups.
On my way to the foam cannon party in Cancun, man. That's what we call a genuine Janxrathra mug. And
when you gonna take me flying? That's what I want to know.
Well, I'll tell you what's going to end up happening is, who knows, maybe in September. And the reason I say that is I was thinking maybe it's either going to happen September or maybe next year. Go down and visit Pop and Blake, and you were talking about coming up to see them. We could all meet up in Michigan.
Yeah, we could all do that at the same time.
We have a great time there. We could do all kinds of stuff, including flying, and have a ball and do whatever we need to do. That'd be great, actually. So we'll see, but not forever away. But it'll come. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, I'll make a trip up there. That'd be fun.
For sure. Let's see. I think that's about it. We probably wrap up the stream now. But what I think we should do, since I've got I think I've still got Tickled Pink all queued up. I think I'll take us out with Tickled Pink. How's that sound?
I'm in.
All right, I'll put it on there, and then once I'll cut out the live, and then we'll talk for a little bit. So here comes Tickled Pink
Right.
for all you guys out there, and thanks to all our listeners for paying attention. Here's
Peace,
some more.
brothers.
Here's some more Jeff Hall.